Well, let me tell you why we've gotten here. What's happened is that, in my observation, is that a lot of the men, and it's mostly men, it's some women, but a lot. Let's lean on what is the
Yeah.
majority. A lot
Yeah.
of the pastors got married when they were 20.
Mhm.
Got because to be a lead pastor, there is a overarching belief that to climb the ladder in a church, you have to have a wife and
It
you have to
was
have a family.
100%
That's
true.
part. Yeah, it's I don't know if it's overtly said, but it is covertly understood.
Oh, it's overtly
And
said.
so
It is.
yeah, there you go. There you go. And so for a lot of my peers, I'm 44, a lot of my peers who are leading churches now, they got married when they were 20 to 22, and then they went to seminary with their wife and they lived in a tiny apartment. And then they started leading churches. Well, in seminary 20 years ago, there was not a class. I don't know if there's a class now. Y'all didn't take classes on how to pastor singles. And
No.
so here we are 20 years later, and 40% of your church most likely is unmarried today, whether that's never married, divorced, or widowed. And the pastors have all my sympathy and all my cheers because you haven't lived this and no one trained you how to deal with
Mhm.
this. And so, of course, absolutely, of course, it's like if horses started going to church. You'd be like, well, I've never been a horse and no one taught me how to get horses saved, right?
Yeah.
For Christian singles to expect our pastors to know how to pastor us exactly the way we need in 2024 is unfair.
Yeah.
And so what I want you to know, Jeff, and what I want your pastor friends listening to know is what I am saying to singles all the time is get helpful in your church, quit chirping. Like instead of telling the church what they're not doing to serve you, start fixing it because they do not
Mhm.
know. Meet with your pastor, meet with some staff. We have 2,000 people in Single Purpose League currently. We did a survey, and of the people that responded to the survey, we said, "Do you feel supported by your church?" And overwhelmingly they did not.
Mhm.
But listen to this, you're going to love this, Jeff. When we said, "Where do you want to meet someone?" Of the top 10 answers, 4 of them had to do with church gatherings.
Mhm.
And so, what single Christians want is I really want to be part of my church. I want to be supported in my church. I want to be supportive in my church. I don't think that's happening in some ways today.
Yeah.
But I was so encouraged when they answered both of those things because it said, we're still showing up and we're still there and we still hope to meet someone there, but we don't necessarily feel super supported. And what I'm trying to say to the singles is like, we're telling pastors as best we can how to help singles. You have to be helpful too. They cannot know what your life is like. You and I share a lot of things. You don't know how to date in 2024.
Oh,